Today, I'm going to share how to set up a functional homeschool room on a budget. Welcome to Sarah Still Teaches, a place where we get real about the education of our children. When we decided to homeschool, I knew that we didn't have an entire room to dedicate just to homeschooling. So I started brainstorming what room could serve multiple purposes within our home and work as a homeschooling room. As a teacher, I just felt like I needed a dedicated space that we used every day that we were doing school so that the kids would associate it with this is where we come to learn and this is how we behave and what we do in this space during the school day. So this room used to be our gym/office room, and we transformed it into a homeschool room with a little bit of office still. But our homeschool room, we really wanted it to be functional. So we wanted a table that folded up and chairs that stacked so that the space was still open and not overcrowded. Now I know you don't have to have a dedicated homeschool space or area in your home. Some families do homeschooling at the kitchen table or in another area of their house that works best for them. I think each family is unique in their situation and their children, and so you'll know what works best for your family. For our family, I felt like we needed a dedicated space that we would use for school, and so we created this multi-purpose room for just that. That's not to say though that we don't do school at the kitchen table sometimes, because with three littles, if one of them is sick or not feeling well, it's easier to meet their needs in a space where they can be comfortable while I'm still doing school with Leland. When I started thinking about how to set up this room, I knew that I wanted the furniture to serve more than one purpose. We've lived in small spaces before, and I know it's important to have furniture that serves for multiple uses and also folds up to be really compact and not take up a lot of space in the room all the time. So initially I headed over to Pinterest to get some ideas about what other homeschool families were doing, only to find that most of the ideas there were for a permanent space set up for homeschool. What I wanted was something that would fold away and leave the room open, and I should have known from the beginning. I should have just stuck with my gut and went to Ikea first. Before we went to Ikea, I already knew this was the table I wanted to use for homeschooling. We have actually owned this table previously when we lived in a small space and used it as our kitchen table. It's awesome that it folds up, but also has drawers so that the kids could store their supplies for school. As you'll see, Leland's is on this side, and then on the other side of the table are Paxton and Ava's drawers, and that's where they keep their crayons, their own pencils, and things like that, because sometimes if one person breaks a crayon, no one else wants to use that box. So everyone has their own supplies just for simplistic use so they can pull it out and that's theirs, and there's some ownership in taking care of their things. Once we were at Ikea, we came across these chairs, and my favorite part about these chairs is that they stack. So they stack into this nice small space, but we have 3 chairs here for the kids to sit in if they choose to. Once we found the chairs, we knew we wanted a space to store most of our supplies, and so we found this cart. What I love about the cart is it rolls and we can easily put it away in a closet to store it out of the space if we need the open area. Initially, I was using the cart and we didn't have a shelf down here and things worked fine, but the cart is just really compact, and so I wanted a space to store our taller books and binders and notebooks. And so the cart still works great. The kids can come over to the cart. Paxton and Ava frequently pull out their math blocks and practice building different pictures on their own. And it has their colored pencils and just some of our supplies. But the cart rolls away and we can put it in a closet when we don't need it. We did have this shelf already, but it is an Ikea shelf. This shelf is a TV stand, I believe, but it works great as a bookshelf. And so we decided to bring it down so that the bigger binders and notebooks would fit and the kids could just pull them out instead of getting stuck on the side of the cart. And so most of our schooling activities are on this shelf now. We have folders and binders so that the kids know what they're looking for. Leland can pull out his folder and it has some of his work in it and he can get started. The twins keep theirs on the cart and they know what their folders look like and where they are as well. We also have our timers, some pencils, and a little whiteboard here. And the twins absolutely love these letters for building different words and their names. I believe their names are their favorite right now, but they have letter mats that they use these wooden letters with, and they are a hit. Once we had all of our furniture from Ikea, I started looking for things like a whiteboard to put in our space. I was always provided a whiteboard in the classroom, and so I had no idea what a whiteboard could cost. Once we started looking though, we found that they can be pretty pricey. However, we found this board on sale on Amazon for under $100 when it normally retails for somewhere over $300. It's excessively big, but I love the fact that the kids can reach the board from the bottom and draw on it as they want, and we can keep things like the date and our calming strategy in the corner, and it doesn't distract from the learning that we're doing at that moment. After our whiteboard purchase, I didn't feel like we needed anything else, but little did I know, the exercise ball we already had and used in our home gym would come in handy, as this is what Leland loves to sit on the most when we do school. He likes the ability to bounce around and move and wiggle as he's working on schoolwork, and I find that he's able to stay focused a little bit longer if he can move around in his seat. So if I could go back to Ikea, I would probably only buy 2 chairs, but the third chair serves as a nice seat for myself when I'm sitting with the kids at the table. If you're curious about the cost of our setup, I'll put the breakdown over here. We've been using this space for a few months now, and the kids are really good about taking school out for the day. We do school and then we put it away. And that was one of my goals with setting up a functional space, was I wanted to be able to put school away when we weren't doing school. And so I hope you found this video useful and getting some ideas on setting up your homeschooling space. If you're curious about any of the items I talked about today, you'll find the links in the description below. And if you want more educational content, be sure to hit subscribe so that you're the first to know when our next video drops. Until next time.